Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Dobby, and I finally decided that maybe that's a good time to start my own channel. I have been a lurker, a watcher, and a huge fan of Flosstube for quite some time at the moment. And it's just like finally I decided that I would really like to join the community as well in a more active way. So let's see how it goes. I hope that it's not too chaotic. It's definitely going to be chaotic, however, not too chaotic. And yeah, let's see where the journey takes us. So some of you may recognize my face, my voice, and maybe some of my projects from Instagram. For quite some time, I was on Instagram with everything. However, like last year, I think, I decided that due to some issues, I prefer to leave social media as such because so basically I suffer from depression and anxiety disorder. And unfortunately, social media, especially as they work at the moment, that not necessarily you see only the content that you would like to see, were not the best for me. So, okay, here you can see like my stitchy helper. She absolutely loves all the floss and notions. So if you hear strange sounds or suddenly there is some kind of movement behind me, that's one of the cats. Her name is Peppa. She's just like the sweetest thing in the world, but also a tiny monster. So let's see. So something about me. I am 40, turned 40 this year, and I am absolutely enjoying the ride. They say that life starts after 40, but for me, life starts after 40 and after therapy, or still with therapy. So it's just like, I think that at the moment, I'm just like having a blast in my life. I work in a legal services for trademarks and patents. Not going to go into detail, but it's just like I love it. However, when I try to explain to people what I do, it gets confusing, so I'm not going to go into detail here. And basically, oh, what else? What is important? So I'm originally Polish. I studied English, and currently I live in Germany, and this is actually my place in the world, and I'm absolutely happy that I found it. I live with my boyfriend and two cats. So it's been now a couple of weeks since we just like took a step forward and we moved in together. So that's why maybe like my video is not going to be like very typical as for the first Flosstube video, because unfortunately all my whips at the moment are still somewhere in the boxes. So until I am just like fully unpacked, I'm just going to work on what I have at hand. Of course, during the move, the most important bit for me was just like to know where my stitching is. So I can have this like stress relief, because for me, this is the most important bit at the moment, that it just like I have something that I can work on, and that it's just like gets me through the day when I'm just like too stressed and so on. So I have been stitching at the moment for 12 years. I think this is 12 years, maybe 11. 2012, 11 years. And I completely don't know how it started. Basically, I didn't have anyone in my life who was cross-stitching, but I've been always very much into any kind of like crafts, like crochet or like knitting. So it was kind of like the progression of all the hobbies. And when I started stitching, I basically taught myself. Can you imagine? It was still just like pre-Instagram time. I had no idea about Flosstube and so on. So I found a couple of cross-stitching blogs. I totally do not remember the names at the moment. However, thanks to them, I learned that all the stitches should go the same direction, that you just don't do 6 strands and all this funky stuff. And once I got the hang of that, I was completely sold. Basically, that was around the time when I was diagnosed with depression, and that was my complete I would say it was kind of like a additional therapy for me, because also at the moment we're talking about my therapist that I may have ADHD, hello, all the stuff. So I always fidget. I always need to do something with my hands. So basically cross stitch was just like doing that for me. It was perfect. I could sit for hours listening to audiobooks and just stitching away. So I absolutely loved that, and it stayed with me. It stayed with me at the moment. I am still searching for this kind of activities when I try to, for example, watch something. Basically, I am almost unable to just sit and watch stuff, so I always need to keep my hands busy, and that's why cross stitch is just like a perfect thing for me. And I love the most, so of course, it's just like we live and learn, so we stitch and learn. So throughout my journey, I noticed that the thing that I enjoy the most is full coverage. So that was also the time when I discovered heaven and earth designs and so on. And of course, we are just like, we're on social media, we're watching this and that. So I've been also enabled a lot. The thing is that very often we see something that we like, and we think that we want to stitch that, but actually when we start stitching that, we decide that this is not necessarily for us. So I have a couple of whips that haven't been touched for quite some time, and either that they are going to be UFO'd or they are going to be restarted. Because also throughout this journey I learned about the fabrics and flosses and everything else. Then when I started with the full coverage, I decided that I am the 18 count stitcher. So Ada 18 count to over 1. That was like the best that I could do. Recently I had a few very short flings with like 25 count and so on. But it was just like, okay, my eyes cannot do that. I just cannot. So I gave 22 hardanger a try, and I thought that I loved it. And of course, it was just like, I'm going to convert everything to that now. But then my mother-in-law actually gave me this gorgeous lamp with a magnifier glass. So it was kind of a new thing for me, and it's just like, okay, now we can see 25 count, so let's see. So again, it's just like, it's a fresh start for me, so let's see where it takes me. but at the moment I'm having a blast with that, so let's see. So regarding the whips that I mentioned, once I just like unpack that and kind of deal with the boxes that are still just like completely closed, I'm going to do maybe a teeny tiny whip parade, but I don't know if that's going to work, because basically when I start stitching, I am very much a monogamous stitcher, but recently I decided that my monogamous stitching is giving me quite some stress, because I want to finish. Just like I'm going, and sometimes it just like it makes stitching a chore, not not like a hobby or enjoyment and so on. So it's just like I decided, okay, let's see also what else we can do. So at the moment it's just like I have this gorgeous stitchy spot. This is behind me, if you can see that. So you can also see this is my Sophie's Universe blanket that I made a few years ago. So it's just like it's kind of a lovely corner with a lot of light, and with all my stitching needs around, and that I absolutely love. So I really hope that I can do a bit more with new starts. I was just like, yeah, there are so many things I want to do, but it's just like I haven't finished this and that. And then I was just like, this is what I'm saying. So as I told you, I turned 40 this year, and at the moment I finally decided that I am on the correct side of 40. I still don't feel an adult. However, I have this kind of realization that definitely comes with time. Do what you like. Stitch what you like. Enjoy it. If you finish that and you manage to put it up on your wall, fantastic. But we never know where the journey is going to take us. So let us be surprised. Let's play with that. And yeah, why should we limit ourselves for any other reasons that just like financial? I have time for stitching. With some savings, I can afford most of my stitching needs. So why not? And especially just like with full coverage pieces and so on, we know kind of when Heaven and Earth Designs, they have their sales. So it can also be planned. So it just like at the moment, my wish list on Hade website is huge. And I was laughing because recently I started quite pieces that are quite dark, and they have a lot of just like dark navy blue or black in them. So when I was just like going through my wish list and updating and adding a few things, we're just like laughing with my boyfriend that at the moment it's just like a complete rainbow bath. So you can just like see that this is just like all the colors, rainbows, and all the neons and everything. So let's see, maybe I will just like, do a separate video on all the things I would like to stitch from Hade. So what is on my wish list? Definitely a separate video for that. However, let's go through that. So what I have now. So let me just like quickly have a look at my notes, because this is what I have. So instead of showing you my whips, I'm going to show you a couple of finishes that I have at hand, because these are the finishes that were just stored separately, because I would like to just now, as we are in the new place, I would like to start framing them and finally put them up my walls and so on. So let's see where we are. So at the moment I will just like try to take them out, I have just like a pile in here next to me. So just like if you see things falling and so on, just do not worry, just me. This is how I work. So the first thing, and this is one of my favorites. Oh my god, is it showing the other way around? Quite possibly. Let's see. So this is Carriage House Samplings, Dear House. And it's just so absolutely fitting for the new place where we are. So where I moved into my boyfriend. So this is like a tiny house, and the writing here says, "Dear house, you are really very small, just big enough for love. That's all." So it's just like, it's simple perfection. It's simple perfection. I haven't decided on a frame yet, and if I'm going to frame it myself or I'm going to take it to my absolutely favorite framer. It's just like, oh my god, they are so amazing here, and I am so lucky to have them because they really know what they are doing. They have just like lots of years of experience with like framing, needlepoint and so on, so I know that my pieces are definitely safe with them. So that was one. Then the second one, okay, so the other one was just like, it was simple DMC. I think that it was one of the Witchelt even weaves. I completely don't remember. Probably it's either 28 or 32 count. I do know the details of most of my pieces. However, this one was just like, it was finished quite some time ago, so I don't have it now at the moment. Then we have the second one, just like, let me show you so it's not upside down. Sorry for that not being ironed, but they're just like, unfortunately, after I show them to you, they're going back to their bags where they live in now, before I prepare them for framing. So I didn't want to mess with them too much before like they are to be gotten into their final form. So this is Ink Circles, Dragons of Sumatra, and they have been stitched on 28 count linen from Chromatic Alchemy. However, I don't remember the color. I completely don't remember the color. And I stitched that with a custom dyed silk from Silks for You. So you can see this, I hope that you can see this gorgeous, gorgeous variegation here. So it just like, this is like the color scheme that I chose, and it just absolutely works perfectly. And I think basically I am not very much like a sampler person, but the Sumatra pieces, I absolutely love them. And definitely I've been eyeing already the Forest of Sumatra and Squirrels of Sumatra. So let's see, but at the moment I am just very much into my full coverages. So this is something for the future. Then the next of the smaller pieces, and this is just like, I am obsessed. I am obsessed with this series, and I'm going to stitch all of them. So this is Night Spirit Studio, and this is just like the woodcut series. Here we have Witches and Demons. So I am obsessed. I am absolutely obsessed. I loved anything like dark, witchy, maybe a bit demonic, diabolic, and this is just like, it's so enjoyable. This is so enjoyable, and the look. Night Spirit Studio, she is doing such an amazing job with her patterns, so it's just, I am already obsessed with this one, and I'm going to stitch the whole series. I've just today discovered there is a new one, so there is definitely some purchasing in my future, and I'm already just like 1/3, maybe halfway through the Farmer's Freefall, so it's kind of like the second one that has been released in the series. And this one has been stitched on 28 Zweigart, in vintage mocha. I would need to check that, sorry. I thought that I remember, but apparently I don't. So this is the one that I love, and it's just like, definitely I need to have a look at the correct frame, because it needs to be a perfect frame. So let's see how it goes. So these were, of course I have like a lot of other finishes and so on, and maybe at some point I'm just going to, when I learn more about like YouTube and video editing and so on, I'm going to also make a video with other finishes that I do not have physically with me, because they are just like, they were gifted, for example, but I still have pictures of. So these are like 3 of the smaller pieces, let's say smaller pieces. Some of them, some of my whips are not whips. Some of my finishes are framed, and they are ready to go up the walls. But before I hang them, I'm just going to show them to you. But still, yeah, they are somewhere in the boxes. They are somewhere in the boxes still. So it's just, this is the joy of moving. The joy of moving. So now let's go to my my obsession. So full coverage obsession. When I started my first hate, it was 2015 or 16? 2016. I was just like, how do you do that? How do you even just do that, follow everything and so on? How do you make it pretty? So I've been talking a lot to my friends from Instagram at the time, and I was blown away by so many methods, so many things, just like whatever you can do. And then I kind of decided that yeah, I'm going to do what I want to do with that. So it's been definitely a journey, but this is this gorgeousness. This is this gorgeousness that I have an extreme obsession with everything Red Riding Hood connected, or rather patterns, not anything, and like the original story. So just look at her. Look at her. She's so beautiful. So this is a design by Anya Kai. Anya, I really hope that this is how you pronounce her first name. It has been stitched on 18 count creamish Ada, and these are all the called for colors. So of course this is DMC. I've been learning the parking method on that. However, I am very inconsistent with what I'm doing, and it's just like I stitch what I want and how I want. So this is the thing, I may start as a parking, then I can go cross country and so on. So it's just like there is absolutely no method in this madness. But it gets us to the end, so I'm happy with that. Just like, look at her, look at her. And when you look at the color palette, when I was just like preparing all my flosses for that, it was just like, what the heck? It's grays. Everything is gray. And then pinks. Where even are the pinks in the design? And then you get to this like tiny bits, like here on the side. And it's just perfection. Perfection. So I think that it took me, I started in July, finished in March to the math. So it was less than a year. And I was obsessively working only on that. And it was just like the best experience of my life. And basically this is how I discovered that, like, yeah, full coverage, this is my jam. This is my jam because it's, first, everything is covered. I do my grading, so there is less possibility to mess something. Of course, I always mess something. However, when you start with your full coverage, or basically when you grid or just use the grading for your cross stitch and so on, this is the only time when I really start doubting my ability to count to 10. How many times did I end up with like a grid 10 by 9, 10 by 11, 11 by 11, because why not? So at the moment, I am just like, as you have this amazing saying that count twice, cut once. For me, it's just count about 6 times. So your grid is in the correct place. But this is it. It's just like, it definitely has been a journey once again, because she's gorgeous. So yeah, this is just like, I think that this is the piece that I am most proud of, because that was my first one. She was my first one, and it's just like, we always remember our firsts. Then the next one, this is again a Haid by Leonid Afremov. Oh, and this one was a mini version, and Mini Little Red Riding Hood by Anya Kay. And this one also is a mini. This is Mini Farewell to Anger, Leonid Afremov, charted by Haid. And this is this gorgeousness. Let me just get it a bit closer, maybe. So all the colors, whatever you can imagine in here. And again, this has been stitched on 18 count cream Ada. So and I love it. I really love it. But this piece was a pain. Why? So I think that I started and restarted that 4 times. Because I was changing something, I didn't calculate properly the fabric or whatever. And so it was just like kind of going around in my head that I really want to stitch that and so on. And finally, I decided to start stitching. That was when I met my boyfriend, and he was just like super supportive with that. And this is just like, yeah, look at that, this is so gorgeous, I would really love to have for you to have something so colorful on your wall and so on. It is colorful, but it's also quite dark, because this is like the evening. But so I started that as I usually did that with the one Haid earlier. So I was just like doing parking and so on. But then I discovered Pattern Keeper. And with Pattern Keeper came the extreme urge to do everything cross-country. Awesome. Not awesome. This piece was so confetti heavy that it was cool when I was going cross-country and I was just like stitching bits and bobs of the same color, and it was just like huge progress. And then there was a time that I needed to complete all the teeny tiny stitches that I left blank along the way. Believe me, it wasn't fun. Never again cross-country on the confetti heavy stitching. Or at least not the extreme cross-country. So this time, even if that was a mini again, I had a bit of a love-hate relationship with that. So it was being put in the timeout for quite some time, then coming back again in the timeout. But before the move, so this is still this month. So it's been like 2 weeks when I finished that. I finished it, and just putting the last stitch into that, it was just like, oh my God, I did it. I managed to do that. And that was one of the like best crafty moments of my life. So it's been finished, and of course I had a withdrawal, because if you're working on something for, it took me exactly 700 days from the start to finish. Of course, I didn't stitch on that every single day there, but yeah, it's been just like 2 years with that, and having a full coverage on the go. When you finish that, you really want to start something new. So of course I did, because why not? I'm hopeless like that. I should have gone on a like finishing kick and deal, for example, with the Night Spirit Studios Farmers Free Fall that I already started, so it would be like another finish. But no, why? Nope, not happening. Not happening with this girl. But yeah, so once again, this gorgeousness, hopefully soon to be framed and to be hung on the wall. But as we are here talking about full coverages and the new starts that happened within this two weeks. So of course, I also mentioned that this is just like a bit of learning curve for me with the different counts and so on. So as I don't know, you definitely cannot see that, and maybe you can feel that when you touch that. And when it's on the wall, it's definitely not going to be noticeable. However, due to the confetti heaviness and just like adding this missing stitches, I find it like very bulky. I like the coverage of 2/1 on 18 count. However, the bulkiness, and sometimes it just like, it's kind of like scrunched, I would say. I have no idea how to call that. So I decided to venture into like other counts to see on which counts I can actually start doing 1/1. So it's just like smoother, it's nicer. And this is where we came to 22 count. So I started one of the projects that I could have had like kind of on the go during the move. It's Minnie the Queen by Amy Stewart. It's again Heaven and Earth Designs. I will really try to insert a picture of a finished piece. However, this is what I have. This is what I have done. So it has been started on 22 count, and I absolutely enjoyed doing that, because with the 22 count, it's hardanger, but it's more Ida-ish still. So pin stitch was super easy to start and for finishes, so it looked good. However, so the piece in general, this is like 78,000 stitches, don't remember. And half of that, almost half of that, is 310. So a lot of black. And that's why it was a piece on the go, because basically I could have just like thrown that in with one needle and one skein of floss into my bag, and I could have just like do whatever and whenever I wanted. However, if you look closer, the coverage, I liked it at the beginning, but it's not so enjoyable when you have it more. And the thing is that as you have like white showing through that, it starts looking gray. And for this piece, again, I really hope that I will manage to put the a picture of the finished piece, or just like the design here, editing. It needs black. It really needs to be just this gorgeous, gorgeous deep black that makes the other colors pop. And with this one, I don't think that it's doing that. So at the moment, this piece, it's around 10% at the moment, so it's quite some work. But this piece is going to a timeout, and I'm definitely going to think about that, if I want to continue or if I'm going to restart that. Unfortunately, I think that a restart is more possible, because this is the thing, I like the piece, I like the design, and I would prefer to work on that than to look at that and this is just like, nah, I really don't want to do that. Sorry if you can hear the washing machine just started the spinning cycle. So that was one of them. So once I put it in the timeout, of course, these hands need to be busy. So I started another one, and this is again a Hade. And this time, as I told you, as I got this gorgeous lamp from my mother-in-law, so I decided to give 25 count a try again. So this is 25, 1/1. And this is all done in black here. And it works. It looks really good. I just realized something. This is not the language of flowers. This is actually already restarted, the Minnie the Queen piece. Because I did like a couple of stitches here that would start the language of flowers. But I decided that I really need to see the coverage for black on that. And here I'm working with CXC threads. I'm slowly kind of converting to that because they are so fluffy. They are so fluffy and the coverage is just perfect. Plus they are so super soft to work with. Let's see how's that going to work in a longer run. But so far, I'm in love. So yeah, so this is actually Minnie the Queen, the start, because I needed like a huge black piece here so I could really see what the coverage looks like. And here in real life you can see a bit of the fabric showing, but not so much. So it's just like, it really looks good, and it looks black as this color that should be there, that would make the other colors pop. So it just like, it definitely stays. So this time it was easy count Figart 25 count. And yeah, thanks to this lamp with the magnifying glass, definitely it's working. I cannot, as the positioning for me is just like a bit strange, so I cannot work too long for that, on that. So basically I think that like my maximum would be to work on that would be like 500 stitches, maybe a bit more, but still it's a kind of good result. So that was that. So Minnie the Queen, Amy Stewart, Heaven and Earth Designs, and I really hope that I will be able to insert the picture. And the second start, because when it started working so well on 25 count, so I decided to actually venture to the project that I really wanted to do, and this is, I definitely shouldn't be shown websites with full coverage pieces. I I will definitely find something for myself there. And there is a new discovery for me, contemporary cross. I wanted to stitch all of that, almost all of that, but I found one, and constantly I fell in love. Oh wait, actually, I can show you that on my tablet. I have it here, so it's just, let me just try to work on that. Why are you not changing? Sorry, it's me talking to my stuff. Let's see if that's going to work. So this is my new love, just like contemporary cross. Oh my god, I should never have been shown that or found that, because it's just like, I really want that. Oh, okay, so I managed to just like pull it up. Look at that. I don't know if you can just like, just look at that. The colors. Sorry for the glare. It's just like loving it so much. So yesterday actually I started that, and this is like a teeny tiny start on it. It's like 700 stitches or something, and this is, can I just like, oh here, these are, it looks black, however these are actually two blue colors. So we have 939 and 823, I think. So this is blue, dark navy. That actually it's showing that this is dark navy in the normal light. Probably on camera it's not going to be visible. However, just like, I'm loving it. So again, this is something that I do with my with CXC flosses. Yeah, basically this is kind of testing piece, and I really hope that it's going to be done. It's huge. I wanted to say kind of huge, but no, it's not kind of huge. It's huge, because this is 536 stitches by 804 stitches. So altogether it's 430 and 944 stitches. A lot. So maybe it's going to be finished in like, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years, but it's definitely going to be stitched, because like the colors are gorgeous. I just started preparing. I will just like show you at some point how my preparations for like stitching and so on look like. But I use basically the floss cards at the moment. I used to bobinate everything, but at the moment I use the floss cards, and I bought this off Amazon for just like a couple of euros, and I just like put the washi tape here with the numbers, and I just like pop the flosses in here, and then I just like can pull that like one strand at a time, because of course on 25 count I can use that only. So it's super handy. I have all the flosses. I don't need to search for that in like my bag or whatever. So everything is just like in the order. So it's also easier for my brain, because as I like having things in order, I always have issues to put everything back in order. So when I was using bobbins, it was always at the end of the stitching day, there was like a cleaning session, so I needed to just put everything back to their places where they belonged, so I can find it for the next time. However, with this one, it's just like working quite well. So I didn't put, as I'm using currently, I think the whole page is just like 2 or 3 colors, so I didn't put all my flosses on that. I think that when I put all of them, I'm going to braid them, and so they are just like not hanging freely in here, so they won't be so tangly and so on. They don't tangle so much, but it's just like, but it's also so super cool that you can just like pull it and just put your fingers through that when there is no cat around, because otherwise I would just like have also like a tiny paw with the claws doing that. So this is this bit, and I love the colors. I'm just like absolutely obsessed. This is like my venturing into like this rainbow barf kind of, but we are starting with the dark colors, so of course this is a bit different. So let me take a sip of my coffee. So these are all the whips that I have around and I'm actually working on. So as these are huge projects and they are just like full coverage, so I decided that at the moment I'm also working on my storage system and so on. There is just quite a lot of stuff that has been happening in my head, that I needed to think and rethink regarding how I store my floss, my fabric, so I can really very easily pick something up that I really want to work on. So this is something that I've been working on first in my head, and at the moment just like my orders started coming in and I started working on anything that I can make myself, because it's just like there are a lot of kind of ready-made storage systems and so on that I love, and I know that they would work for me. But as they are not based in Germany, so paying for them, plus shipping, plus customs, plus something else, when I calculated that together, I would come up to around 400-500 euros. No, I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying this money for that. It's not happening. So I started thinking what I can actually do myself, and I'm just going to tell about that in one of the future videos. But yeah, these are just like bits that are coming. So I started also making like the floss cards myself. But the thing is that even if I had them made out of just thicker paper or like a cardboard, they weren't sturdy enough for me. I really want to have it in a way that they are not going to break, they are not going to get crumpled somehow, because this is something that I need to be using for next 4 or 5 years at least. So of course I need the sturdiness, so I decided to go for plastic, unfortunately, but yeah, it works. And in other things, wherever I can do something myself, I'm doing that myself, but I will just show you that in the future for sure. And I just realized that actually, before I learn all the editing and so on, I will try, however, I'm just going to show you what the I can show you also on my tablet what Minnie the Queen will look like. So just let me try to make it bigger. Maybe this way it's going to, yeah. So look, this is a kitty sitting on a gorgeous bed, and yeah, she's a queen. And definitely we have also 2 kitty girls here, so yeah, the royalty of them is definitely something that we are completely aware of. But yeah, so this is the thing that I am working on. yes, so this is basically it for today. I wanted to mention a couple of stitchers, a couple of Flosstubers that were super important for me and are super important for me, and their videos got me through so many times, like happy times, darker times, and so on. So I would like to shout them out because they're super bingeable, that's for sure. So my first Flosstuber, that was Caroline, now known as the Flosstube Stitcher. This girl, first, her projects, amazing. Second, I learned so much from her. She first has this gorgeous Australian accent that I'm obsessed with. Second, she takes time to tell you things. And I wish that all of us had teachers like that in our lives. Of course, here it's a completely different situation because we are just like learning about something that we love doing, not necessarily like school environment. But Caroline, thank you so much. It's just like, thanks to you, I know stuff that I know about parking. I know things about fabrics. I know a lot about like frames and framing and so on. Just like, oh, love you, girl. Then the next person, this is the Stitchy Witch. I came across her channel last year, and I was binging, of course, and then I discovered that she has a Discord. I'm obsessed with the Discord community. I met so many amazing people there, and it's just like everyone is so supportive and everyone is just like so gorgeous with everything. I love crafty people, and unfortunately, I don't know if that's just the area where I live or Germany in general, but I don't know too many people that no, basically I don't know anyone who stitches around me. So finding community, even if that's on Flosstube and it's only online, it's so important. So the Stitchy Witch and the Stitchy Witch's Discord, oh my god, thank you so much for that, because just like this is something fantastic. Then I think that everyone knows her, the crazy girl called Teresa Little Stitcher. I started watching her basically, I think that starting from her second video. So being with her on her journey, it was something else. First, I love her energy. I love the way she presents things and everything that she does, talks about, and so on. She's just like also animated, and it speaks to me. It speaks to my tiny heart, and every time she has any kind of videos popping up, I need to watch them straight away. And now some of my quite recent discoveries, because it's been like last 3 months, I think, that was just like I had a kind of break from Flosstube for some time. There were just like lots of things happening in my life, and then I started stitching more regularly again and watching Flosstube more regularly, and I found a few people that at the moment I'm obsessed, and when I need to wait for the video, so of course I binged through everything, almost everything, and now I'm waiting, and this is a serious withdrawal. So with some of them, I already watched their videos like twice. Not all of them, but like with parades. Oh my god. So let me just like pull my list up. This is Vera of Vera Stitching Corner. Vera, I want to be your friend. I already just like commented that I completely feel like a psychophan, but looking at you, listening to your voice when you do your stitch with me, it's so soothing. I have you playing in the background whenever I am doing something that, for example, requires concentration, because potential ADHD, so I need to have just like more things happening that only one to kind of let me concentrate on one thing that I have to do. So your voice and the manner you speak in, just like, oh my god, I love it. I absolutely love it. Then we have Sam of Little Loop Stitching. This person, she started with full coverage, basically not knowing too much about full coverages, as most of us starting don't know that. And within such short time, her projects, her stitchy journey, it's just like it blew up. I absolutely love her, and it's just like, again, binged all the videos, and now I'm waiting. And let's see, I am thinking maybe 2024, maybe it's not going to work, but she is one of the organizers of like the Big Stitch in the UK. So I would really love to go. I would really love to go. So let's see. But at the moment, Sam, hello. Then we have E from E Crafting Colorado. Oh my god. This girl is a joy. Is a complete joy. It's just like watching her makes me so super happy. I couldn't stop. I started watching her videos actually this past Saturday, and I watched them all through the weekend because I just couldn't stop. And I had everything playing. I was just like, I was dealing with this new storage system, organizational stuff, and so on. And I had her just like talking to my ears and just like popping to my eyes with her projects and so on. And it's just like, oh my god, I love her. I love her. So yeah, hi. And then we have Jantina from Jantina Stitches. Another soothing voice. Her channel, it's just like, it's also just something that I could just watch, have playing in the background and so on. Just perfection. It's the way she speaks. It calms my brain. I can just like, I can stitch with you. And now, the last but definitely not least, because this is my biggest obsession. I started because I was just like looking at whip parades, so I was just like putting in the search bar box. I was searching for whip parades, and I came across her channel. I couldn't stop watching. It was just like, This is Jemima from the Rocking Stitcher, and Jemima, I love you. I absolutely love you. The energy, the chaos. Sometimes I feel that I am watching myself because her projects are absolutely gorgeous, and most of them I would like to work on myself, but I'm venturing very much into like the rainbow bath. So I think that Jemima, we're going to have a lot of Amy Stewart in common. But her projects go and give her a watch. She works on loads of full coverage pieces. I think that there are around 20 at the moment. And she works also on supersized ones. The Waterhole Master. When I saw it for the first time, I was completely blown away. It looks perfect. You just look at that and this is just like, is it a picture? Is it a photo? And then you realize that it's just like, of course, the shapes are not completed yet. And you have like these tiny, tiny stitches in there. And it's just like, whoa. I actually, from the first video that I was watching of hers, I took a screenshot and I sent to my boyfriend. And this is just like, Jemima is who I want to be when I grow up. Because her craftiness, her dedication to the full coverage pieces and so on, just like, whoa. So lots of projects that she is working on landed on my wish list, or at least the same designers, because I absolutely love them. And Jemima, I'm just waiting for next videos. And I have to admit, your whip parades, especially the last one, you were saying that it's just like it's over 2 hours and it's so long, but I watched it 3 times already. I admit it. 3 times. And definitely it wasn't the last time. So I'm waiting really, I'm looking forward to your next video, because just like I love it. So yeah, these are the Flosstubers that I watched definitely at least last weeks. There are more, of course there are more. You are all amazing. So it's just like, I'm going to be definitely mentioning a lot of people. However, if I could have all the people that I just like mentioned in one room stitching together, I would be the happiest person in the world. So keep what you're doing. Keep what you're doing, because you are bringing people so much joy. Okay, so I think that's all from my side. So thank you so much for taking your time to watch my video. I hope that I will manage to upload it properly and so on. Maybe I won't play with editing so much this time. Let's see. But thank you so much, and I hope to speak to you soon. Bye bye and happy stitching.